Okay, great. Thanks for the confirmation. Right. So welcome everyone to the session. My name is Kaushik Shwaru. Some of you might know me. For some of you, it could be new, as I said. I'm going to be a trainer for this particular subject, for this particular course. And I have, I'll give you an idea of what we will be learning in this course, what would be covered. Today being the introduction session, I'll give you the idea on what we will be covering, what all you'll be learning over the duration and so on. Right. But before I start with, the topics, or before I start with what is it for the day, let's talk for some time. Can you tell me, why are you here? I mean, what is this course? Any idea what you will be learning? And you can use your chat window to respond, to talk with me. Okay, Danush says Power BI. Okay, anyone else thinks anything else? Power BI, okay. Okay, so we will actually be learning this tool called as Power BI. That's the idea of this course. Uh, you know, we will be starting with the basics, and I'll be leaving it, at an intermediate level. I'll give you all the details of what all we will be covering. Don't worry on that. But even before we start, anyone here, maybe you can put yes on the chat. Have you learned Power BI before? If you have not learned, you can just ignore. But just put yes if you have learned Power BI. Gautam, yes, you need a laptop. I'll come to that. I'll tell you the prerequisites. No, okay. Anyone else? Have you guys learned Power BI? And it's completely all right if you have not learned. It's just for my understanding. Okay. Just started in the college. Okay. Fine. So my assumption here is based on whatever I see on the chat. My assumption here is you guys are completely new to Power BI. Right. And I'll also keep my training in that manner. We will be starting the things from the scratch. Right. We'll be starting with Power BI from the scratch, and then we will move on into the intermediate level. Now, I saw a question on the chat. Do we need laptop for this session? Probably, if you don't have laptop on this first day, it is fine. Still, it's better if you have a laptop. You can have it. But from the next session, which is tomorrow, laptop is absolutely mandatory. Everyone should have a laptop with you. I'll tell you why, because this is a completely practical course. And when I say practical, I'll be teaching Power BI and I'll be giving you time to work. So this is a complete practical session. There is not much of theory. If there is any theory, I'll be covering it today. Will not be looking more on theoretical. This is a practical course. So make sure you have a laptop. And it's not only that, make sure the laptop that you have is Windows. Now, I'm going to talk a little bit on this tool called as Power BI, and I'll tell you why I said this, why I said that, you should be using a Windows system. Because there is a, reason for it. There is a need for it. First thing, it's okay if a lot of you have not learned about Power BI, but anyone, have you heard about this term before? If yes, what do you know? You might have not used it, but what do you know about this tool or this technique called as Power BI? It's a tool. So what do you know about it? Anyone, do you guys know anything? Once again, it's okay if you are completely new, but still, you might have heard about it somewhere. You might have seen the working, or you might have seen some videos. So just, okay, it's a tool used to visualize the data. Okay, great. That's a, lovely response. How about others? What do you guys know about Power BI? Okay, yes, it's a tool that is used to visualize the data. Anything else? Only that? Okay, which company it uses queries? Okay, good. It uses query. In fact, there is a very important concept in Power BI, which goes by the term Power Query. That is, correct. Which company is Power BI part of? Any idea? Or which company created Power BI? It's used for analysis. Okay, data analysis. Yes. Microsoft, that is right. So Power BI is a software, or it's a tool that is developed by Microsoft. Right, it's a Microsoft product, like how you have Microsoft Windows, like how you have Microsoft Outlook. Power BI is also a product of Microsoft, and we will be learning things like why is it important. I'll come to that. Since it's not because it's created by Microsoft, but there are a few issues, and because of this, Power BI works only on a Windows operating system. It doesn't work on any other operating system. And that is the reason why I asked you to have a Windows laptop. A lot of you would be having Windows laptop. But if you have a Mac OS or if you have Linux, please try to arrange a Windows laptop. You can access Power BI on a Mac or a Linux, but it's not very easy. It's a very complex process. You need to get a virtual device. Sometimes you need to pay and you need to get it. So all that is a lot, complex. So to keep it simple, this course would be completely done on Windows OS. And my expectation also is for you to have a Windows device. So if you have a Windows working laptop with good internet, that's enough. That's enough for this course. There is no know these things before. You should know how to work. A lot of you would have learned Excel, but it's okay if you don't know Excel. It's good to have Excel knowledge for Power BI because it has a lot of similarities. But still, if you don't have a good knowledge on Excel, it is fine. Power BI would be start from the scratch, and it's one of the most easiest tool out there. Now, there are a lot of other competitors for Power BI also. Right? See, anything you learn, any tool you learn, or very simple, any mobile you buy, there will always be competitors. You would check 2-3 other mobiles also. Now, if you decide to buy a mobile phone, what would you do is, some of you might have a fixed mobile phone on your mind. Let's say I want to buy a Samsung S24 or S25. This is something you would have fixed. But sometimes you might have a budget. I need to buy a mobile phone with 20,000, 10,000, 30,000, and so on. At that time, what you do is you compare. You compare different mobile phones like that. Here also, we will do a little bit of comparison. Power BI is not the only tool that is out there. There are multiple tools which are competitors for Power BI. And that is, I'll talk about those tools, I don't want to give the names directly, but I'll tell you, don't worry. But first, maybe we'll have a little bit of understanding theoretically on what is Power BI. So I'll share my screen and I'll write a small note so that you all can understand. Can you all see my screen? Is it visible? A blank screen, a blank white screen. Perfect. Now, first thing to note is Power BI is a Microsoft product. This is something that we all are clear on. Power BI is a Microsoft product, right? It works only on Windows OS. Of course, there are ways in which you can make Power BI work on Apple Mac OS or on Linux, but officially it works only on Windows OS. Right now, there could be a little bit of confusion, not a confusion. See, even though when I first learned Power BI, I thought this. Some of you might think that Power BI is a data visualization tool. Right? Some of you might think this Power BI is a data visualization tool. That is true. Power BI is used for data visualization, but that is not the only purpose of Power BI. In fact, there is a term. What do you think this BI stands for? What do you think is the full form of BI? Anyone? BI stands for business intelligence. And that that is the answer. Power BI is not a data visualization tool. It is actually a business intelligence tool. Now, you might be asking me, what is the difference? What is the difference between a data visualization tool versus a business intelligence? See, a data visualization tool is used only for creating charts and graphs. You want to create a bar chart, you want to create a pie chart, you will be using a data visualization. As simple as that. However, when we call this as a business intelligence, what happens is we use Power BI as a propeller for our business. It will be used to increase our business. It will be used to improve our business. And data visualization is one part of it. In fact, the things that you can do in Power BI are data visualization. This is one part. You can do data analysis. You can do data transformation. And you can also do data cleaning. These are a few things that you can do with Power BI. Of course, 60% of the work would be on data visualization. And when I say data visualization, it involves all the terms like charts, creating graphs, creating dashboard. Some of you might have heard about this term called as dashboard. So I'll tell you all that, don't worry. So 60% of the work is on visualization, but it is also used for analyzing the data, calculating the data, transforming, data manipulation, data cleaning, and so on. So keep in mind, if in an interview, if someone asks you, what is Power BI? Don't just say it's a data visualization tool. You can clearly mention that Power BI is a business intelligence tool. Right? And we would also be, before we talk about the competitors, see, let's understand what is the need. What is the need for us to learn a tool called as Power BI? Let's understand what is the importance of this. I'm going to focus on data visualization here, but as I said, keep in mind, it's not just data visualization. See, first, let's understand about data. Let's see where all we have been seeing the data. You might have seen this before. You might have, seen this image, or, you might have seen this statistics before. Still, have a look once. What you see here is every minute of the day. And every minute means 60 seconds. Now, these are some of the apps that we use, right? Now, on these apps, at every minute, which is every 60 seconds, what happens? Right? Let's take some apps that we all, use. I'm going to go with probably Snapchat. A lot of you would be using Snapchat, right? If you're using Snapchat, you can see that in 1 minute, 3.5 billion of snaps are created. You guys know what is a snap. You take a photo, you send it in chat. In a minute, 3.5 billion snaps are created. I'm not talking about a year. I'm not talking about a day. I'm talking about a minute, which is just 60 seconds. Right? If you talk about Spotify, in a minute on Spotify, there are close to 13,200 people who are listening, active listeners. And like this, you can see on Twitter, there are 350,000 tweets sent in a minute. There are 2.1 million people active on Facebook every given minute. So like this, there are different applications, and on these applications, you can see that there are different kinds of data that is getting generated. Now, if you just look at the data, right, data as a standalone will not be helping you. Right. In fact, there is a very, very big difference between data and, the other thing that I would be saying is opinion. Let's understand this. So maybe I'll ask you this question, a very blunt question. If I ask you, which is the most successful IPL team, what would be your answer? If I ask you, you can just put it on the chat. If I ask you, what is the most successful IPL team? Okay. MI or CSK? Okay. Only CSK? Okay. MI CSK. Someone says RCB on my personal chat. RCB, SRH, okay, RCB. So I'm getting around 3-4 different teams here, right? Most of it is either MI or CSK, and a few people are saying RCB, and a few people are saying SRH. Now here, it's not any troll that I'm going to do, but see, whatever you guys said, it's an opinion. If you say RCB is the best cricket team, it's your opinion. If you say CSK is the best cricket team, it's your opinion. But if I ask you what is the best team or what is the most successful team, you need to back it up with data. For example, when you say Mumbai Indians or Chennai Super Kings, probably a lot of you would be saying because they have a higher win percentage. They have the most number of IPL cups, right? They have a higher average, batting average, or they have a good economy in bowling. So these are all data. Like this, whenever you make a statement, you should always back it up with the data. No one takes your opinion. People would consider data, right? If you say RCB is the best team, you should have a data to support it. If you think SRH is the best team, you should have a data to support it, right? Maybe, according to your data, you can have any team. You can have any team to be the successful team because you can say this is all the criteria. This team is meeting all the criteria. This is checking it, and that is why I'm saying it as the successful team. So keep in mind, there is a difference between opinion and there is a difference between data. Now let's talk about IPL. You know how much amount of data is getting generated in IPL? See, we know that IPL is an event that happens 2 to 2.5 months. It starts, in a week. So March end it starts and it goes up to May end. So 2 to 2.5 months, I'm sorry, not weeks, 2 to 2.5 months is what IPL happens. And every match, there is 120 balls that has been bowled in one innings. So there is run scored, there is wicket taken, there is extras and so on. So in one event, if the amount of data is huge, imagine the data that is getting generated throughout cricket in 1 year or in 4 years. So nowadays, the data that we see is huge. And if I just show you a data, that's not going to help you. And that is where business intelligence tools will come in. And these tools will actually help you to visualize the data. Right? If imagine I have 1 lakh rows of IPL data starting from 2008, I have data up to 2024. If I ask you who is the highest run getter, you don't need to go through every single record. You can just make it as a visual, and as a bar chart, you can represent maybe the top 5 run getters. Right? So understand this data is getting huge these days. And companies are also looking out for people who would be able to present this data in a good manner. Right? If I give you an Excel file of, let's ignore higher numbers. If I give you an Excel file of 1,000 rows, if you take probably 10 seconds for one row, imagine the amount of time that you need to spend on understanding the whole data. Now, just to understand, you would take, then you need to get insights from the data, then you need to create a report on that data and so on. So having a data as a raw data in an Excel or in any database is not going to help you. Now, what would really help you is converting that data into a visual manner. And that is where these tools like Power BI or all the other tools comes into picture. So every time when you have a visual, that's a better representation of data rather than just taking the data as a number or a text. Having it as a visual has a higher value. Maybe I'm going to show you an example, and let's see if this example convinces you that visualization is important. I'm not sure if a lot of you might be able to relate with this, but let's take this. What I'm about to show you, or what I'm showing you, are the Zudio stores. Have you guys heard about this brand called as Zudio? Like Max, Trends, there is this clothing store called as Zudio. Have you guys heard about it? Yes, right. Now, I've taken a few Zudio stores in Delhi, right? And that's why I said some of you, most of you might not be from Delhi, but it's okay. I'll tell you this. So if you see here, Zudio is present in Ashok Park, Janakpuri, Kamla Nagar, Central Mar, and Burari. These are 5 locations where Zudio is present. See, if I just see the data, this is the data, just a 5-row data that I have, which all locations are Zudio present on. Now, based on this, it's not going to help me because we know that data in its raw format, it's not going to help you. So what would we do? We are going to convert this data into a visual manner. And whenever you have a location, the best way to represent the data is by using maps. Any geographical data, state, region, district, pin code, any geographical data you have, the better way to represent it would be in the form of a map. So if I am going to represent this in the form of a map, this is what I'll be getting. Right? What you see here is what you will be getting. Now, to understand this, to get the insight of this, you should know a little bit about Delhi. Right? I'll tell you some things about Delhi. See, Delhi, if I have it here, I can make it into 2 parts. So there is this term New Delhi. Whatever you see on top of New Delhi is called as North Delhi. And whatever you see on the bottom of Delhi, this is called as South Delhi. Right? See, every country or every location would have North and South, right? Like that. If you talk about Delhi, there is North Delhi and there is South Delhi. Now, what do you infer based on this geographical location? Do you infer anything based on this chart? It could be in many places, but based on this chart, do you infer anything? Do you get any insight? And it's okay if it's wrong. You don't need any technical knowledge. Just tell me something that you maybe identified from this. Anything? Yes, anyone? Most store are in North. Okay, that's very good, Karthikeyan. Anything else? In fact, I won't say most stores are in North. I'll say all the stores are in North. All the Zudio stores are in North. There is not even a single Zudio store that you can identify in South Delhi. Right? And I'm going to tell you the reason for it. Now, Zudio is a store, or Zudio is a brand that would give you good clothes at an affordable price. Now, we need to be very careful because we cannot use the term cheap. If you would have seen the market trend over the last few years, people have stopped using the word cheap. Because cheap is a word that they associate with the negative brand image. Right. So that's why people have started to use the term affordable. People have started to use the term budget. So we will also be using it in the same manner. Zudio is a store that would be able to give you affordable clothes that looks a lot like branded clothes. But if you know a few things about Delhi, South Delhi is where a lot of posh people would be there. And when I say posh, people who can spend a lot of money. Right? South Delhi is a posh area. So Zudio actually didn't try. Their audience were present in North Delhi. And that's why they put the stores on North Delhi. They didn't have a lot of stores or, no store here on South Delhi because their audience were not there. Now, this is actually an insight. Imagine if you have a new apparel brand or you have a new dress, store or a brand, and your target audience are people who spend between 300 to 1,000 rupees on a cloth, then you need this insight. If you are a Zara or if you are a H&M, then probably you might be putting stores on South Delhi. So understand this. This is an example where visualization would actually give you more insight rather than just data. See, even if, for example, anyone from Delhi would also not be able to understand this just by looking at the values or just by looking at the location. But when it is present as a visual, even you people, a lot of you who might not be from Delhi were able to answer this. So this is one example of how visualization is helpful and how it is giving a business insight. You guys are clear on this? Perfect. So this is on this, and I would like to have a term here. Visuals give better insights than numbers or text. If you take a visual, that gives a better insight than a number or a text. Now, let's talk about competitors for Power BI. Competitors for Power BI. Any idea what are all the tools that are competitors for Power BI or in the similar range of Power BI, like Power BI, what all tools are there? Excel, okay. Excel, I cannot call it as a competitor because the need is different. Tableau, yes, Vishal, as you said, Tableau is a competitor. In fact, it's the direct competitor of Power BI. PPT, yeah, PPT is just for creating reports. It's not used for analyzing the data. So PPT might not be a direct competitor. Tableau is one competitor. There are other tools like ClickSense or ClickView. There is Alteryx. There is Google Studio. Now Google Studio has changed its name to Looker. Right, Looker. But don't worry, you don't need to know all these things. In this course, we will focus on Power BI, but these are some of the business intelligence tool that is present in the market. Now, in this, Tableau is very popular, right? In fact, you would be learning complete Power BI in this course. But if you have an opportunity, my suggestion is for you to also learn Tableau because it's good if you know both. Right? Maybe I'll ask you an example. See, if everyone here is from Tamil Nadu, I would have asked you this question whether you like Vijay or Ajit. But I can see a mix of audience, so let's make it a little international. Can you guys just tell me what is your favorite? Is it Marvel or DC? I hope you guys know the difference. There is Marvel superheroes, and there is DC. Just take a side, Marvel or DC. Okay, I can see Marvel. Well, a lot of Marvels, no DC. I'm very sad. I'm a DC fan, and I'm very sad to see that there are no DC fans here. Maybe answer this: Batman or Iron Man? Who's your favorite? Batman. Okay. Iron Man. Both. Batman, Iron Man. Okay. This gives a very balanced response. I wanted a balanced response. Batman or Iron Man, if I ask you, half of you are saying Batman, half of you are saying Iron Man, and some of you are saying both. It's very safe to say both because they both have their own specialities and it's good to like both. Right? Now, Power BI and Tableau is like the Batman and the Iron Man of business intelligence. See, they both have their own specialty. Some of you might like Batman and some of you might like Iron Man. Like that, in a few companies, Tableau is preferred. In a few companies, Power BI is preferred. And that is why it is good to know both. However, it's not mandatory. Even if you know one tool, learning the other would be very similar. But, if as a mentor, I would suggest you to learn both. That's very good. Still, you can go ahead with Power BI, which is what we would be, learning in this course. So Power BI's competitors are Tableau, ClickSense, Alteryx, Google Studio, and a few other tools that is out there. Right? Let's talk about why Power BI. When all these tools are present, what is the need for us to learn Power BI? There are a lot of options. There are a lot of, I would say, supporting points for this, as we have told that, we'll be going with the data. There are a lot of supporting points, but the first one is it's a Microsoft product. Now, when I call it a Microsoft product, it actually has a brand in the market. See, if you are working in a company, a lot of company would take Microsoft Office. So when I say Microsoft Office, they take Excel, they take Power BI, PowerPoint, they take Word, Outlook, Teams, Microsoft Teams, all this comes as a part of the Office suite, not just MS Office, but Office suite. And any company which has tie up with Microsoft for their official work will actually go ahead with Power BI because it actually comes to them. They have a lot of softwares. With that, Power BI is also another software. And trust me, a lot of companies actually work with Microsoft. And this is one reason why Power BI is preferred, because it's a Microsoft product. And because of this, it is compatible with a lot of other products that Microsoft offers. But not only this, see, I told you that we would be going ahead and we would be working with data. So I'm going to show you data of why Power BI. Right? If I just, and in fact, not just data, I'm going to show you visual. See, we have been learning and we have been saying that Power BI is good, visualization is better, but I'm going to show you a visual. Right? Give me a minute. I'll show you this visual of why Power BI is good or why Power BI is better. Have you guys heard about, or do you guys know about this thing called as Google Trends? Has any one of you, have you heard about it? No? Okay. Google Trends, no? Now, Google Trend, as the name suggests, it will tell you how has been the search about that particular term. Right? If you take any trending term, the search of that would be very high. Right? I'll tell you something. What is the news that you know? I mean, very recent news. Any recent news that you guys are aware of? Something that everyone is talking about. Any recent news? Levitan, okay. RCB concert. No, RCB concert is not something everyone talks about. Right? That's probably, people who watch cricket. Right? Any other news? Okay, I'll give you one clue. What is the news that is recently trending with space? Sunita Williams. Very good. If you see, this astronaut Sunita Williams, she not only Sunita Williams, but people, including Sunita Williams, were actually stuck on space. Right? For a longer day, around 264 days, I believe. And they returned to India today. Not India, they returned to space, Earth today. And this is something that has been trending over the last few weeks. This has been trending. I'm going to show you a thing. I'm going to show you something interesting. Let's look about that. I'll just search for Google Trends. Right? You don't need to do it. Just have a look. You can search for Google Trend. And when you search for it, you get this first website, which is trends.google.com. Right? And it's a very simple website. It tells you explore what India is searching for right now, or explore what world is searching for right now. You can search for any term and see the interest for it. See, now this is not just something that is for this course. You can use it for your reports. You can use it for your presentations. You can use it for your official work also. I'm going to search for Sunita Williams. And you can see Sunita Williams is something that I'm getting. Now, this is not Google search. Don't confuse this with Google search. Right? Now, if you search for Sunita Williams here, you can see it says interest over time. And this is 1 day. This is 1 day data. Now, what you see here, this chart is the search term, the number of people who have searched about Sunita Williams. For example, if you go to Google and if you search Sunita Williams, you will be counted as 1. If I go to Google, I also search for Sunita Williams, it will be counted as 2. Like that, it will be counted as 3, 4, and so on. So here, around 4:34 a.m., today morning, around 4:34 a.m., 75 people, or not just people, it is a normalized value, not 74, it could be more, almost 75%. You can take it like that. Searched about Sunita Williams. But it's not just this. You can customize this. I'm going to make it, instead of India, I'm going to make it worldwide. Right? And this is just 1 day. Instead of 1 day, let's go and let's talk about the past 90 days. See, if you talk about past 90 days, you see a very interesting thing. People during December 2024, January 2025, January mid, January end, February, they were not interested about Sunita Williams. Right? Very few people searched. But if you see here, the trend around this March 14, where the news of her returning became famous, a lot of people searched. And this search actually peaked. Today, the search peaked. There has been an increase. Right? And you can do it for any term. You can do it for any term. You would see that where it is increasing, what is the time that people are talking about, how many people are talking about. Not only that, there is also a compare thing. There is also a place where you can compare. Okay, just a minute. Please don't, annotate on the screen. Then I need to just erase it. Now we are going to do a small change. Let's make it with Power BI. Sunita Williams is something I took it as an example. I'm going to talk about Power BI, not worldwide. Let's talk about probably India. Let's go with India. And if you see in the past, not many search would be there, right? Like it will go up and down. That's how the search would be. But if you go for a past day, it can either go up or come down, right? There has been some decrease and then people are searching for it. I'm going to do it for a year. Let's talk about the past 12 months. If you see in the past 12 months, there has been this trend of Power BI, which seems to be static, but it is, if you see the number, it's all high. 80, 85, 86, 96, it's all very high. Let's ignore past 12 months. Let's go with past 5 years. If you see in the last 5 years, there has been a very increasing trend of Power BI. Right? It starts around 25 and it goes up to 85. You can see the peak here, 85, 80, 100, it reaches at that point also. So over the last few years, the trend of Power BI is increasing. Now, this gives you a visual idea. I'm not going to show you a data. I'm not going to show you numbers. I'm going to show you this in a visual format. See, over the last 5 years, there has been an increased interest in Power BI. A lot of companies are expecting you to have a Power BI knowledge, and that is why it is important. If you look at the last 90 days, if we compare Power BI with Tableau, you also have a compare term. If you go with Tableau, right, you can just put Tableau. You can see that clearly Power BI has a higher search. Right? There is only one place where, or one day where Tableau had a higher search than Power BI, but blue is Power BI and orange or red is Tableau. So, and not only that, you come down, you can actually see where is the interest, which all places where interest of Power BI, if you see in Tamil Nadu, 81% people prefer Power BI, 19% is Tableau. And, you can look at all the different regions here. This is specifically for India. So even in Google Trend, Power BI is actually having a higher, I would say higher interest. And this is the reason why we are focusing on learning Power BI. And we would be learning Power BI at the end of this course. Okay, quickly, any doubts till this point? I know I've been talking, continuously, but as I said, this is going to be the first session. So I would just take it slow. From tomorrow, it's going to be practical. So yes, any doubts till now? Are you guys clear with what we have been talking about? Perfect. Now we will see what all we will be covered, what all we will be learning in this course. Increase interest over the last few years. Right. Now we will see what would be covered in this course. What all you will be learning in this course. First thing, introduction to Power BI, which is what we are having today. what would be, what is Power BI. Then you would be learning loading data into Power BI, which is the basics, how to load a data into Power BI. Creating visuals in Power BI, how to create visuals in Power BI. Creating dashboard in Power BI. Data analysis using DAX. Now, don't worry, you might not understand these things, but I'm just saying these all will be covered, right? Data transformation using Power Query. And I think this is good. I'll also say data modeling. Now, these are the things that you would be learning in this course. And in this, if you see, the first three things are basic. The two here, if you see DAX and Power BI, these are intermediate. Power Query comes with a little advanced, right? It's a little bit of advanced topic, but yeah, these are the things that we would be learning. So by the end of this course, so this is a 12-hour course. It's for 12 days, every day 1 hour. At the end of this 12 days or 12 hours, you would actually be knowing all these things. You would know what is Power BI, how to load data, how to create visuals, how to create a dashboard, how to do data analysis using DAX, data transformation, and data. These are the things that would be covered in this course. And it's going to be 10% theory. Maybe I would take a little bit of theory here and there, and 90% practical, which tells you that laptop mandatory. In fact, I would say Windows laptop. Right? Windows laptop is mandatory. So you can have a look into this. This is what we would be covering in this course, and this is what we will be learning. And we would do a lot of projects. So it's not just things. If you are creating a dashboard, we'll take a data and we'll take a case study, and on that case study we will be doing. For example, when we create a dashboard, we will be doing it as an operations dashboard or a supply chain dashboard. When we are doing data analysis using DAX, we might take a marketing case study. When we are creating visuals in Power BI, we might take a HR example. Right? All this would be covered. Okay, a lot of you are asking about attendance. So what happens here is any query regarding attendance, you can talk to your Sunstone team. They would be able to help you. But if I am giving the attendance from my side, it is automatically captured on Zoom, and you would be given attendance only if you are there for the entire course. You should join on time and you should not leave before. It's not like you join late, then also you'll not get attendance, or you join at 8:30, you leave the class at 8:35, then also you'll not get attendance. You should be there from 8:30 to 9:30. The complete 1 hour you should be there. You should be there. So that's how your attendance would be marked. But still, it's better if you can talk to your Sunstone team regarding attendance. They would be able to help you. Okay, so I'll quickly give this. You can note it down. I'm pasting it in the chat. What is the need? What would we be covering in this course? So make a note of it so that you also will keep on track. Like maybe after half the session, you would understand, okay, first is done, second is done, third is done, and so on. All right. Now, what we would be doing is over the next 10 minutes, we would actually be installing Power BI. Now, Power BI has a lot of versions. In companies, Power BI is a paid version. People would get the paid version of Power BI, which is called Power BI Service or Power BI Pro. But we will actually be using the free version. Power BI also has a free version, and that is what we would be using. So you don't need to pay anything to use Power BI. Don't worry. It's a free version, and I'm going to guide you on how to download and install. See, installation is something that you might be knowing already. You might have installed a lot of softwares. You guys are good with computers, but still, I would just give you a guide on how to navigate, where to go and where to download. So everyone have a look. I'm going to tell you this. Just go to Google or any search engine and search for Power BI desktop download. Search for this Power BI desktop download and you would be getting multiple links. I'll tell you where you need to go. So just search for Power BI desktop download. And once you search for Power BI desktop download, don't go to these Softonic or any other external websites. You can download it officially from the Microsoft website. So you can go here. The second one that says Microsoft.com Power BI download. For me, it's second. For you, it could be first also. Go here where it says download Power BI Microsoft Power Platform. And you can select this download PBI desktop. In some cases, it might take you to Microsoft Store. If it asks you, do you want to open Microsoft Store? You can download Power BI from Microsoft Store. If you have Windows, you can go to Microsoft Store and you can also search. Now, don't worry, I'll tell you a direct version. I'll also be downloading it in the direct version. Here, you can go to this link. I'm going to give you the link on the chat. If you go to this link, there are two ways. As I said, you can either go to Microsoft Store and you can search for Power BI desktop and install. I don't prefer this method because sometimes it might give error. It might not work properly. So my suggestion is not to go with Microsoft Store. You can go to this link, Microsoft, details, whatever. I have given the link on the chat. Please make sure you go to this link. And here you can choose the language. Make sure you select English. Please don't go with any other language because then all your options would be different and it's a headache for you to get it uninstalled, reinstalled, and so on. So here you can directly click on download and there are these options, right? Microsoft Setup 64. This is nothing but your computer's bit. If you have 64-bit version on your computer, you can go with this. Most of the new computers, if you have bought your computers in the last 4 or 5 years, your laptop, you can go with 64. But if yours is a very old one, you can go with the first one. So you click on download, it will ask you which version. No need to select both. You can select the second one, 64. Once again, if yours is a laptop that you have bought in the last 4 or 5 years, you will definitely be having 64. You can go with this. However, if you don't have this, if yours is a little old, you can go with the first one, right? You can select this, click on download. Now it is around 500 MB. So based on your internet speed, this would take some time to download. After you download, it's a very simple process. You just need to click on next, and your Power BI would be installed. Like how you install any software or any game, you can install it directly. So go to this link, click on this blue download button, and it will ask you which version. Select the 64 version and give it some time. Let it get downloaded. Right? Please confirm if you have started the download, if your download has started, if you're able to do this, because that is very important. That may take a little time, but that's okay. Have you guys downloaded the version or is it downloading? Any problems that you're facing? No? Okay. If you have it already, that's lovely. That's great. You can have it. If it is downloading also, it's good. Let it get downloaded. I'm going to give you a couple of minutes. Let it get downloaded. I also already have Power BI, but I would still be using this new version because mine is around, I installed it latest 6 to 7 months back. So let it, I think I installed in November. So around 5 months back, I have that version. Power BI releases a new version every month. So if you're working with Power BI, every month they give an update, like September 2024, October, November, December, every month Power BI will give an update. And it's good if we all have the same version. And that's why I'm also downloading the newer version. So you can see mine is almost done. I think it's done, but still let it get completed. Once it is done, I'm going to install it. The benefits of learning Power BI is a lot of companies are expecting people to have Power BI knowledge. So if you know Power BI, it's good to get a job. It's easy to get a job. You would be given a preference. If there are two people and one knows Power BI and the other doesn't, obviously for Power BI, the advantage would be given. Right. You can summarize a lot of data, a lot of huge data into good visuals, good dashboards. So that is also another benefit of learning Power BI. Like that, there are a lot of benefits of learning Power BI. So here it is downloaded. You can just select and maybe have a look, guys. From tomorrow, I'll not spend any time on installation. So today we should complete the installation. We should, have Power BI ready with us. Once it is downloaded, just select it, just give next, it will get installed. Installation is a very easy process. You can just give next, and it will get installed. But still, I'll maybe show you. And as I said, if you have Power BI already, that's great. But please make sure that you are joining this, joining these sessions using a laptop. Don't join with your mobile. I know that you have the tendency of joining from your mobile, but my suggestion is if you want to learn Power BI, if you want to know the tool, it's good to join from a laptop. Please do have a look at the chat. All your information is given. What is your attendance? There is a quiz that happens at the first 5 minutes. So all the details are given. Now, once you have it, you need to select the language again here. Just make sure it is English. Give next. It'll ask you yes or no. You can just give yes. And I think it's fairly simple. Just it'll ask you which location you want it to be. So give a location where you have enough space, a drive where you have enough space. I think it's taking a little bit of time. It would take some time because it's a huge software, right? It's around 500 MB, and when you install, that becomes more. So that would be there. But yeah, this is how you can do it. You can just give next, and finish. Your Power BI would be there. From tomorrow, we will open Power BI. We'll talk about, so you can see it says preparing to install. We'll talk about how to get data, how to put in data into Power BI, and how to create visuals. That's our goal for tomorrow's session. As we slowly progress, so not on day one, we will talk about dashboards and everything. That will be covered at a later stage. But as we slowly progress, we will be learning everything. Let it compute space requirements. Just give accept the terms of license. Next, create a desktop shortcut. You can give install, and all this would be installed. Right? You can see the status. So give it some time. It will be installed, and you would be having Power BI ready. So let it get installed on the backend. As I said, from tomorrow, I'll not be spending any time on installation. So please make sure that you have, I'm pretty sure some of you would join the session tomorrow and be like, I didn't attend the session yesterday. How can I download and so on? And that's why your management has given you the playlist recording on the chat. If any of your friends have not joined, please ask them to join the session. That is first. Ask them to install Power BI before tomorrow's session and ask them to go through the recordings. Right. I hope you're clear on this. I'm once again putting the link of Power BI installation on the chat so that you can use it for your reference. So guys, with that, we come to the end of today's session. I hope you guys are excited to learn. I'm excited to teach. To be very honest, I'm excited to teach. Power BI is one of the favorite tool for me out there. So I'm excited to teach that. And make sure you attend the session regularly. You join on time and you stay till the end and listen to what I speak. If you are doing that, then definitely you'll become good at Power BI. Right, that's all on this session. Okay, if feedback form is asking for a request, maybe it'll get updated. Don't worry. Maybe it'll get updated in some time. You can try that after some time. Good to hear that, Shakti, that you are excited to learn. As I said, I'm also excited to teach. So we have a good, not 12, 1 hour is done already. So we have a good 11 hours ahead of us, and let's get the best of it. Right. Thank you. Thanks everyone for joining this session. Have a good night and let's catch up tomorrow. Thanks everyone.